Hello there, my name's Glenn and I'm going to hopefully very quickly show you through my card game that I've designed, and it's been in the design process for a few years now, and it's just about reached the point that I'm ready to publish it online, at least for some feedback from the board game designers community, plus friends and whatnot. So I thought I'd start immediately with this, hopefully very fast run through to show you where to find it, and where to test it, and hopefully get your feedback. So I have created a digital model of it on Tabletopia, which I've been enjoying using just recently. And I've created a setup. It's a card game which is for 3 to 5 players, as you can see. And the aim of the card game is to race cat by the finish line from the home or the start card all the way through to the home card as fast as possible. In the meanwhile, the racetrack, which is basically the neighborhood of garden path cards, is going to be randomly generated as the game goes, as the race progresses. And also there are small instances where Monty, the little puppy, which will crop up or may crop up from time to time and create problems for the racing critters, which is Monty is the dog which the game is named after. So as you can see, there's 5 players here, all of a different colour. All you need to do is select, to begin the game, you just select one of the colour you want to be. So in this instance, I'm going to be red, and let's play a 4-player game. So we'll just play with the 4 starting colours: blue, red, purple and green. So the first thing we do is we place the start card, and that can go anywhere with your playing surface. So like any table, if you're down around a friend's or at a cafe or at a pub, you just place it down, and that's where the game starts. Once you've done that, then all you do is you take all the playing meeples, the colours that you want to play in the game, and I'll do this as best as I possibly can, and we can get this game started. Okay, brilliant. So I'm going to play the red squirrel, okay, as you can see here, and you can see down the bottom here you can either be a squirrel or a cat, but I'll be a squirrel. The blue can be a cat, the purple will be a cat, and the green will be a squirrel, just for fairness. So there's 2 squirrels, 2 cats. You can choose either one, and the changes or the difference between the 2 will become apparent in the game, hopefully. Sometimes they're not as apparent, but they do become race winning or race losing strategies. So once we have that, you'll notice that every single player's card is color coded to their pawns, their playing pieces, and you have 4 cards with numbers 2, 3, 4 and 5 on them. To begin your turn, the game is made up of 3 stages, and to move, all you have to do is pick one of these cards, the movement cards you want to move. So let's just say we want to move 4. You'll place it on a table surface in front of you, and so will everybody else. And I'm just going to shuffle their cards because I'm going to do the other characters as just a random draw, just to show you. And everyone will flip those cards over all at once, and you'll see, and then you get to move those spaces. So before I go any further in depth into this, I will show you how to set the game up. Setting the game up is fairly simple. You'll see that you have 16 garden path cards here, and I'll just show you one of them. As you can see, these garden path cards are literally just extending the race as the players further explore the game. So I will place them back in there. So and we'll shuffle them up. And the way that you build a deck to begin the game is, what we want to do is we want a fairly consistent but exciting ending. So what we'll do is we will take 7 cards all in all, So I'm doing it this way. It's just the way Tabletopia will allow me to stack them. So now we've got 7 cards of the 16. We will take the 3 ending cards, and you'll see that there's a Monty Buck card there. You'll also see that there are 2 home stage cards there as well, which will be shuffled into the bottom of the deck. So I'll flip them and place them in the bottom 7. So now you've got 10 cards, and we can shuffle them. And I'll just move the rest of the cards just to one side. I'm only showing you this because if you use Tabletopia, you'll want to know. And all I'll do is, because it's a little bit weird how we do this, I'll just literally just stack these on top of each other, and I will stack these on top of that finally. So what you have is you have the home stage cards, 3 of them shuffled into the bottom 7. So we don't know when the home stage card's going to come into play, but when you pick up one of those home stage cards, you will, when you place that home stage card down into the playing area, you will place this card, which is the which is the keep going card. Essentially this is just a home card, but it's just to signify that the game is continuing. And then of course when the final home stage card drops, we will drop a home card down, and that will signify the end of the race. But if the Monty Buck card come up, I will show you what that means. We don't need to worry about that right now. So to begin the game, I will place the leader token, or the crown token as we call it, just to signify who is the race leader. Again, that's quite important. We'll see how the game pans out. Okay, so if we use the cards that were already placed just as we were beginning the game, we can see that the numbers which are dealt with, they're dealt with in number order from lowest first. So as you can see, purple has chosen 3, has 3 spaces to move, and nobody else has chosen 3, so the purple is free to move 3. Now what they can do is they can take a draw from the top of the garden path deck, okay, which will extend the race to the sides, or they could even just choose one of these corner cards if they like. So if they choose a corner card, then it will just change the direction of the race and avoid things like the edges of a table or playing space, or maybe some obstacles, which you can see I've just put a couple of obstacles here. So in this instance, just to move the game forward, I will place a garden path to this space, and that immediately snap and open up. So there you go. So the purple has moved 1, just needs to move 2 more. So as we're hurtling towards this obstacle, we've got to go around it. So in this instance, we're going to go around it by going above. Okay, so now we're moved to 2, and now we only have one direction to travel, and that's up, and only one card can help us here, and that is the closer for the corner. So there you go, the corner goes there. Just make sure that clicks in, it does. And we can now move the crown just to signify this is the race leader, and the crown token is to signify that. So that is, so now we've done that. Now they've had their turn. Now it's between green and red to take their turns. Now because they've got the same number, they have to negotiate before they move as to how much of that 4 they use themselves. So for example, what would be fair is both of them would take 2 movement each. However, one player might want 3 and the other player is happy just to take the 1, or perhaps potentially they might not even agree to negotiate, and if they don't, then they won't move at all. If anything, they will move backwards. But let's just, for argument's sake, let's just quickly say that both of them decide that they're going to take 2 each. And in this instance, normally because they're on the same space and because they're moving the same amount of spaces, during the negotiation they actually have to decide upon who goes first. And the red says, oh yeah, go ahead green, you can go first. So green moves 2, and then red moves 2 afterwards, and nothing else needs to be done. So finally we have the blue movement, who moves 5. So blue is going to move 1, 2, 3, and now blue can go whatever direction they want to do. So let's just say they take this direction, so that would be 4, and then let's put another garden path down here, that would be 5. Okay, cool. And we'll move the race lead token there, the crown token. You'll notice that some of these cards if I just zoom in a little bit, some of these cards are slightly different to others. So for example, some of them have a little tree where they're breaking a fence, which is standing upright. That's called a tree card. That means only one player pawn or one player can end their move on there, otherwise some special rules happen. But also you'll have these other cards here, like the which is called the garden gate path card, and they signify like little race saves. So there's like save spots in races that you normally get, and I'll explain a little bit more about them. Essentially what it means is if you ever get knocked backwards, you can't go back any further than the last pink gate that you passed, as you can see, not including the one that you were on. So okay, that was round one. So what I'll do is I'll just flip these on the back. I'll place this card back into my hand because I'm choosing. As you can see, like it's hopefully I'll do a little bit better than these guys because I get to choose my cards. But I'm going to shuffle these up. It is all going to be random from their point of view. I just want to show you the rules. So I am going to, in this instance, I'm fairly far behind. I think I'm just going to choose the 5 and see if I can get myself into the lead. And then once I do that, I'll flip over the cards for everybody else. And you can see we've got 2 doubles. So purple and green are moving the same amount. So now you have an uneven amount. So, I mean, if I was green, I would be hoping to move the total of 2 and asking the purple to move 1. However, and also purple would probably agree to that, because if I can't negotiate, you'll see that purple, if failed to negotiate, will move all the way back to the start along with green, and that's 1 extra space. So now, so let's just say purple agrees to move the 1. The rules are the person with the least amount of move moves first, so purple moves first and then green moves next. So hold on, it's a bit fiddly sometimes. Let me just check this. Green moves 1, 2. Okay, cool. So that means that one and that one is done. Okay, right, so here we are, a little bit different this time. Blue and red have chosen 5, and even though red is far behind, red is in a slightly disadvantageous position because they're going to have to move back 2 if they fail to negotiate, and the blue will only have to move back 1. So the blue claims that they would like 3 of the movement, please, or they will all move back, because blue doesn't mind moving back to being there. It will penalise red. And red says, well, okay, fine, you were being a bit mean to me, but still, I have really got, I need to keep up with the race, so this is what I'm going to do. So red moves his 2, and then blue will move their 3. In this instance, blue will move 1. Okay, that's a trampoline card, right? So it doesn't add any additional move to you on a trampoline card unless you actually finish your move on it. So, but you can change directions. So with blue, you can now move 1, and you can now move 1 of 3 directions. You can either move continuing on, or you can bounce upwards or downwards. For this game, let's just move him upwards. So blue has moved 1, and then essentially I can just move his hair like that, 2. So now blue has moved 2 here, and let's continue backwards the other way, 3. Okay, right, as you can see, we now reached a broken fenced panel. Whenever you do that, the race leader who's exploring the path immediately stops. Okay, they can't move, they lose. So they lost, blue lost 1, 2, 3, lost 2. Sorry, the blue only moved 3 because that was the total that was allowed from the negotiation phase with red. So blue didn't lose any more spaces. Okay, and that is the end of that turn. I'm going to flip these over, shuffle these up ready for next turn. As you can see, we're doing it round by round, and in the hopes eventually one of these little furry critters will win the race. So now red is not so bad. I think red is going to play a 4 here. I hope to get a nice even 2. Okay, right. So there you go. We've got a double draw. So green and red decide to move 2 each. Okay, so and red this time decides he's going to move first, so 1, 2, but you land on a trampoline, so you bounce forward. You can only bounce forwards towards the race leader or the race crown, the crown token. You cannot start creating new path cards. You have to head towards the leader. So that's the bonus of being a leader, is you get to generate the track. So there you go. Red does the 3 movement because it lands on there, and so does green. Okay, and we can flip these. We can flip these over just to remind ourselves that we've done that. Okay, now we have a purple move and we have a blue move. So as you can see in this instance, negotiations wise, it would be way more helpful. Way more helpful if the purple got more than the blue. However, if negotiation fails, you will see that blue can only move back 1 because you can't explore further going backwards, and you cannot reach the trampoline because there's no way of bouncing from one from the fence onto the trampoline. It's only a one-way move. So blue can only move back 1. Purple also can only move back 1 if they fail because it's so they're both in the same situation. But purple would like to have 3 if that's okay. You'll notice that if purple even got 2, he would still move 3 and bounce forward, but he doesn't want the blue to get too far away. So negotiations are that is that purple would like 3. Blue agrees. So blue gets to move first because blue has 2. So in goes blue. 1, 2. Okay. So there we go for blue. Blue's now moved a good few spaces into lead, and purple has now drawn with the rest of them. Okay, cool. And now I can flip these on the back and reshuffle. Okay, and we continue the game. So in this instance, I think red is going to try and go for a safe 3. See what happens. Okay, we have a double-double. So in which instance the 2s move first, so that is the purple and green. They decide that they want to move 1 each, and the green decides to let the purple go first, so the purple goes first. And in this instance, the green moves 1, but it's a broken fence panel and only 1 critter can land on this space or remain at the end. So being a squirrel, and this is where the difference between squirrel and a cat comes in for movement. If a squirrel lands on another playing piece that occupies only a single garden path card, then they have the option of bouncing off of there. Now they have to continue the direction of travel. So essentially what will happen is a squirrel will land there and will bounce forward, thus getting a 2 movement. However, if it was the other way round, if the purple wanted to go second and green went first, because green is the squirrel, purple being the cat would land on the space and then force the other player to move. And that could be backwards, which would be rather mean, or that could be forwards if they want to maybe cement a bit of a partnership, a good negotiation. Either way, the ending, if they've done that, would be similar. Okay, so that's how we're going to play that. We flip those on their back, and now it's between red and blue. Right, so red would like all 3 movement in this instance, because red can't move back, but blue can move all the way back to where red is and putting them right at the end. So from a negotiation standpoint, red has an awful lot of power here, so decides just to do that, and blue relents. Even though blue would like just a single move just as a fair trade, red decides no, they're going to bargain hard, they're not going to get in these positions that often in the game, so let's make use of it and take advantage. So that's what red does, moves into joint first place. Okay, cool. Now, and I can flip this over here. I mean, obviously, as we do these negotiations, you can play hardball, or you can play a little bit more kinder to your fellow critters, if you like. But remember, this is a game where you're going to need each other at some point, so you're probably better off just being nice and much as you possibly can right up till the end of the race. So here we go. Let's this time, I think we're going to play a 3 again with the red in the hopes that we move first or fairly close to the beginning. Okay. First person to move is the purple, who moves 2. So purple moves 2. And then we have a red moves 3. Red is going to place a corner and then continue going forward. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, cool. So red has reached the famous bark card. So this is essentially where this is one of the home stage cards. Okay, however, it's like a reverse the game card. Now, this bark card becomes a dead end in the race. You can no longer pass. You can only come back into the race the way that you came. So essentially, to get back into the game, red has to actually head back from where they came. Okay, so you can see now the red has to play a crown token, which will be the direction of travel for the race. Now, there are only two places that they can go. They can either go here, which obviously puts red in last place, but gives them a little bit of a chance of kind of catching up, or they can place it here, which means that red is in joint last place with green, as you can see counting, which is probably the best way of doing it. They cannot place it here, or they cannot place it here, or here, or here, or here, because the red player cannot reach them without exploring new cards, and that's the rule. So they can only place the crown token at a free, unexplored edge of a garden path card that they can reach through normal legal movement without exploring more. So red will place it here, and red ends their turn. Okay, there are two players who are yet to go. They both chose 4, so they're going to go, and so they're going to decide to move 2 each, which is, I would say, probably a fair shout. Bear in mind that green is furthest behind, so they move first, and they go there. And then you have blue, who then obviously have to move and explore this card. And you will see that only really one card can fit this gap. It has to be a corner card. So we're going to have to take that corner card and place it into the gap. Okay, and that is blue's turn. 1, 2. Now the race leader. Shuffle these up, and we'll continue the race until we have a winner. Okay, as you might have remembered, we're now into the final 10 cards at least, because the bark card was drawn. We'll see how many cards are left. 9. Yes, it was the top one. Okay, cool. So now red is last place again, and I'm thinking a bit. Would like to move 4 this time. We're going to flip these cards over and see what everybody else has gone for movement wise. So we have, first things first, we have the 3s because they're the lowest, and that's the purple and blue. So at the moment, blue has the lead. So purple ideally would like to take 2 of them. But however, if blue decides not to negotiate, then purple will have to move all the way. You can see actually we'll move back to the last pink gate that they passed, that's furthest away from the lead token. So at the moment you can see no pink gates there, and you can see no pink gates there. And even though that is moving forwards, it's still moving back with regards to the game. And the bark card counts as a pink gate. So essentially that means that the purple would move all the way to the bark card. In this instance, all the way down here, but it will be to the bark card because that's slightly closer. So blue negotiates hard and says, no, I would like to. So purple relents and says, yes, I want to continue in the game, so I'm going to move 1. Blue moves 2, so blue can continue to generate the neighborhood. And now blue is going to take a turn. Okay, there you go. In the hopes that maybe next turn that pink gate is going to create a race save for them. It obviously isn't a race save right now because they still haven't really fully passed it. Okay, so that was the 3s. So now red gets to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that goes back in here. And green gets to move 5, which is a really, really good thing for green. Puts them in the lead. 1, 2, 3. And they're going to do something really weird. And they're going to go 4. And they're doing this because they want to stay ahead of the pack, and they don't want to get knocked back. They want to put themselves in a really good negotiating position ready for the next round. Okay, which is part of your privilege as the race leader. You get to create save points. So red is going to go with a 3. We're going to flip these randomly over. Okay, cool. So we have both green and purple are 2 apiece. As you can see, purple's in trouble because purple have to move back to the back mark, but the green would have to move all the way back there. Neither of them want to do that, so they both agree to moving 1 each. Purple moves first because they're furthest away from the leader, and then green moves, which is, I think, probably a safe move just to keep them both in the race currently. Red gets to move their 3, 1, 2, 3, and lo and behold, we have a, let me just move it back into here. And lo and behold, we have a 5 move from a blue. Unfortunately for the blue, the only card that they can play is this card, which is the only one that fits. Okay, and something special happens when you get to here, because what's happened is we have rejoins. It's called a loop-to-loop action. Rejoins one part of the race to another part of the race, and now you have no clear leader. The blue has to set the new lead. So it has to be just like with the Bark the Bark game, Bark the Bark card, sorry. You have to move the crown onto a free, unexplored edge of a garden path of the neighbourhood that is reachable. And as you can see, that's an obstacle, so we can't do there. So we're going to put it all the way over here. There you go, you can see. So that signifies us now the new race leader. So this is the direction that everybody's headed. Yeah, and then obviously now blue can continue moving. So they've only moved 1 of their 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, keeping them in the lead. However, as you'll notice, purple was last. Now they're second because of the loop-to-loop. Okay, we're going to shuffle these up. And red is going to play a 5 because they're quite far behind and looking to catch up. And these are all the flips. So blue moves 2. No one else has the same, so off he goes. And then purple and green, well, purple and green, they go to move 3. However, if purple fails to negotiate, they will move back at least 1. Okay, one gate and move away. But green, if you count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or if they move back 1, that will mean 8, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so green and purple would move back 1. So green will implore purple to say, please, may I move 2? Of course, green will ask purple, can I move 2? Purple will probably say yes, because they're still in the race, they'll move 1, and green will move 2 along here. Oops, don't want to do that. Obviously, thus giving them a race save if they need it, which is really good. Okay, because we need to keep up with that blue. We can't let the blue run away. So here we are. Red now is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and gets back in the game. Well done, red. Okay. Actually, we're going to go for a 5 on red again, and we're going to see how it goes. It might be, if this was a game with real people thinking, then that might be a dodgy, but because it's a dodgy move to do, but because it's random, who knows what cards are going to come up here. So let's flip these over. Oh, bad news for red. Okay, good news for green. So green gets an unchallenged 3 move, 1, 2, 3. Purple gets an unchallenged 4 move, 1, 2, 3, and has to move 4 down 1, and that could obviously be that can be one of these cards here, which is, or probably don't need to do that quite yet. Maybe we could save that for later. Let me just move that away. Let's put the garden path back down there. Okay, cool. Let me just stick this on here. Sometimes these don't line up. Okay, so as you can see, it's a broken fence card. Garden path card again, which means only one person can land on it, but also we would have halted purple's further move. Not that it did it this time, but it would have. So now we have blue, which can move 5, red will move 5, red will move back 2, and blue would potentially only move back 1. So blue is going to bargain hard for a 3, and red is essentially just going to have to swallow that, say yes, you meanie. So 1, 2, and which way is blue going to go? We're going to use the garden path and go, there we go. Okay, so that's blue. Blue has reached the first home stage card, which means that we have to place this card on top. Essentially, I'll zoom in on this. You can see it's the end game. It's just to basically signify that there's only one more of these end stage cards left before the game ends, and blue can move on to that. And bear in mind, this is a single space card as well, just so you know. Okay, so that is, and I'll zoom out a little bit, and we can flip these cards over, ready for one of the final rounds, I would have thought, because the race looks like it's going to end pretty soon. Right. Okay, so here we go. We can be a little bit more tactical now, because if red, we've only got 6 cards left. That means that the game could end at any moment. If red chose a 4, then there's a chance, but actually probably red won't. What will happen is, actually, I've just spotted, if red chooses a 3 and hopes, fingers crossed, that nobody else gets a 3, then red will land on purple and blue and generate another space with and not many people will be going for a 2, so let's just go for that. Let's see what happens, shall we? Oh, and it worked out perfectly for red. So here we go. So red bounces 1, 2. It's a squirrel. Red is a squirrel, so they bounce forward if they want to. They can only bounce forward in this instance, and they land on another one and they have to bounce forward again. So red actually gets to generate the last card, which is, of course, it's another broken fence panel. There's quite a few of them left by the looks of it, but moved into the lead. Okay, we can place that down here. Okay, next to go is the green. So 1, 2, 3. They do the same. Green being a squirrel. So bounce, 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 and oh, look at this. This is crazy. What an ending to this game. And then we can flip this, and then we have blue with 4. So 1, 2. As you can see, there is only room for a corner. If we place this corner, this is going to bring the game to a premature end, and in the rules states that you shouldn't, if this is spotted within a few cards, it's easily spottable, you shouldn't really do that. You should keep the game going, in which case there's really only one card to play. Actually no, you can play the well, actually no, you have to play the corner card to continue the game. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the blue. There you go. Oh, keep doing that, sorry. Blue moves into the lead, and then purple comes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then joint leader. Okay, we can now shuffle these up, get ready to go again. Okay, red is red's going to go for broke. It's going to go for a 5 and hope that no one else goes for it. Okay, bad news. So purple is going to go and see if they can finish the game. Okay, looks like they're going to probably finish the game. So that's a first one. That's a second one. And that's the third one. Oh yes, and the game is over because that's the final card. Yeah. So wow, all of those trampolines at the last moment. And I move the home card here. That goes over the top of that just so you can find the end. Purple moves here. The crown is the purple is crowned as the race winner, and the game immediately ends. And as the game ends, what we'll do is we'll give the winner token. So essentially, gold token goes to purple first, which is worth 3 points. Silver token goes to blue, which is 2 points, and finally a bronze token goes to green, which is 1 point. And you give the enough coins out to total 6 points. So that would be that potentially, if you're just playing one game, that would be the end of the game. Purple won. Or if you wanted to play a few more games, then you play to whoever gets to 6 points first. So you reset everything and you go again. So hopefully you enjoyed that game. Tell me what you think to the game. Potentially go on Tabletopia, find it, just do a search for Bark or Monty's Bark, and you should find it immediately. All the rules are there. I think we covered just about most things here. I'd love your feedback to see what you think. Yeah, have a great day, and hopefully I'll speak to you soon.